Okay, kiddos, this is Mr. Picard again. It should be Tuesday morning. Little update on the vacay. Just caught a 5-foot reef shark, no big deal. I took him off, gave him a hug, and let him go. No big deal. Anyway, order of operations or operations with functions. We talked about the birdhouse problem yesterday. We were adding and subtracting functions. Now we're going to get into this. We're going to get into products, which is multiplying, and quotient, which is dividing of functions. And once again, it's well, you'd read this as f times g of x. And what it means is you're going to take your f of x function and multiply it by your g of x function. Sometimes you'll see it written like this, f of x times g of x. So you take those two functions, the expression part of them, which is x plus 2 and 3x, and just multiply them. So it looked like this. Here's f of x, that's x plus 2, times the g of x function, which is 3x. And basically you're just using the distributive property. It's kind of backwards because we got one term going this way. But first of all, 3x times the x is going to give me 3x squared. Add your exponents. And then 3x times 2 is just plus 6x. And there you go. It's just that simple. The dividing, okay. This is f divided by g of x divided by g of x. That's how you'd say it. But it really boils down to this. It's your f of x function, which is on top. You can see f on top here, divided by g of x. And simply said, you take your two expression parts of the function, the x plus 2 from the f of x, and the 3x from the g of x. And this is, we're going to leave our answers like this. You could, if you wanted to, break it up and say x all over 3x plus 2 all over 3x. But the only thing that really simplifies here is the x's cancel out, and you end up with 1/3 plus 2 all over 3x. It really doesn't simplify the problem a lot. So from when we divide these functions, I just want you guys to leave your answers just like this. I just want you to set it up as a fraction, and you're done. And that's pretty much it for today. I'm not saying it's going to be easy because we're going to be doing some different things with the multiplying and the dividing, but the dividing is pretty easy. Just set the top expression over the bottom expression. I'll say it again. The numerator expression over the denominator expression, and you're done. Well, this is what we did yesterday, adding and subtracting of functions. I think you did pretty good. The only thing that would be a little bit harder is maybe the subtraction, because you got to run a negative through that second expression. But f times g of x. F times g of x. Okay. And I think it's, well, here's our f of x function, here's our g of x function, the expression parts of them. Those are two parts you're going to be working with. And it's basically going to look like this. F of x times g of x. F of x is this, x squared plus 5x, whoops, minus 1, in parentheses, times g of x, which is 3x minus 2. So basically f of x right here times g of x, the expression part of them. Okay, I'm going to move this up a little bit. We'll move this up a little bit. And here we're going to use the distributive property twice. You could do it 3 times. I could say, I think this would be the long way. I'm going to show you both ways. You could take x squared and multiply it by every term inside the other parenthesis. And then take 5x and multiply it by every term inside the parenthesis. And then take the 1 here and multiply it by every term inside the parentheses. But what I'm saying, and I think is a little bit easier, is this. Go from the binomial, right here, these two terms, and go into the trinomial. So what I'm going to say is multiply 3x times all three of these terms first. Now 3x times x squared is 3x cubed. 3x times 5x, 3 times 5 is 15, so it's plus 15. X times the x here is x, well there's a 1 here and a 1 here, 1 plus 1 is 2, so 15x squared. And finally 3x times negative 1, be careful, that is just a negative 3x. Then, we're done with the 3x now. I'm going to go to the 2. First I'm going to multiply it by x squared. Negative 2x squared. Then the negative 2 times the 5x. Negative times a positive again is a negative. 2 times 5 is 10x. And finally, negative 2 times negative 1, you guessed it, that is positive 2. Now, the key is this. We have 3 terms here. We have 2 terms here. 3 times 2 equals 6. So we should have 6 different terms here, and we do. Now, we just got to simplify it down by combining like terms. And I think there's only one x cubed term, so that's 3x cubed. I'm done with that one. There are 2x squared terms. 15x squared and negative 2x squared, that's plus 13x squared. Done with them. Think, any other terms we can combine? I think you're right. Negative 3x and negative 10x is negative 13x. The only thing left is our little constant. That's a number without a variable, and that's plus 2. And we are done done. Bam, there it is. So basically using the distributive property, or in this case, you're using the distributive property twice, once with the 3x and once with the 2, negative 2. And that's a multiplying functions. How about this one? F divided by g of x. I guess another way to write this now, move this so it's kind of out of the way, is f of x divided by g of x. You're going to see it written like this on your worksheet, and you're going to see it written like this. It means the same thing no matter what. Put the f of x function on top, the expression part of it. There it is. X squared plus 5x minus 1 all over g of x. And there that is, 3x minus 2. We can't use synthetic division even here because you have the 3 in front and it's got to be 1x. So we're just going to leave this. Just like that. I want you basically, when you get a function like this you're dividing, I want you to write it as a fraction and you're done. And that's pretty much it. Now, just like you did yesterday, you were supposed to take a little quiz, a one problem quiz after you're done, and then you can start your worksheet. I want you to do the same thing today. Take the little quiz and check it with the teacher and send it in, whatever you got to do, and then open up Tuesday's worksheet and start working on that. Work with the people around you and ask questions of Mrs. Breivik and Miss Rolog, and everything should be good. And I will see you. Hopefully I don't get eaten by a shark. Probably won't though. I'll see you guys on next Monday. Peace out. Yeah.